back, relaxing, cooling out with my man Malik B. We call him Slacksin. You know what I'm saying? We in effect. Mode like I'll be sure for your pleasure.
What's
Hey, yo,
good,
Buster.
Osiris here?
If
Middle
I can keep it
MAGA
on some old laid back, mellow my man.
spice.
We gonna set it like this.
It's gonna be extra spicy tonight.
Bust it, lottie dottie.
I've got one main top. Well, I've got two topics. I've got the Russell Brand topic, and then I've got an update on the Lauren Boebert, which I think is a very important topic. All jokes aside, it's representative of the problem I've been talking about with the MAGA movement, knowing when to criticize, and just because you criticize somebody doesn't mean you're throwing them away. So I'm gonna the focus is gonna be the Russell Brand though, and then we're gonna get going. What's up, Noel Ryan? I'm gonna try to watch the Rumble chat. Cyan. Somehow I didn't really fully understand. Cyan actually kind of shared the link with somebody else, and there was like 40 people in the Rumble chat late in the live yesterday. I didn't even know because I can't. It's hard to go back and forth. But if you're on Rumble, much respect. I need you because I don't know if this is. I keep saying that every week, but I have to say it. This one might go down. We're gonna if we're gonna talk about Russell Brand, we're gonna talk about everybody. And I don't have time to get into everybody, but we're going to talk about Obama. We're going to talk about Big Mike. We're going to talk about it all if we're going to do this with Russell Brand. And so that's going to be the first topic. Let me go ahead and make sure that the Rumbles is going on. Christian says that he is getting problematic for them. So it's time to trot out a good old sexual misconduct allegation, a la Julian Assange. That was a weird one with Julian Assange. Now, before I finish, I don't know, and that's going to be part of my takeaway. I'm not siding with one person or another on these he said, she said things. I have these damn crickets. I got every year I got crickets in the basement. I don't think they're coming through too loud on the mic, but they're annoying as hell. Christian says betting this is all fake as hell. I don't blame you for that. And if I had to bet, I would probably bet that it's fake, but I'm not. That's not my take here. The take is actually that I think we have to be comfortable in this gray area where it's a he said, she said. We don't know. So let's jump into it. The Russell Brand topic. If you don't know the headline, I don't know what YouTube does with this. I haven't had too many topics where I've had to get into this level of detail with it, but we're gonna get there. The shocking headline is Russell Brand. Now, I'm gonna call this Russell Brand versus the Shadow Elite ? And I used elite in the thumbnail, and you might wonder because I put in the thumbnail elite versus because I was gonna put deep state versus Russell Brand ? But then I was like, this is actually elite. I actually put elite first, and I was like, oh, no, don't do that because Russell Brand can be considered elite. Then I was going to put deep state, but then I was like, wait, hold up. And I'm going to tell you why I did leave it. I went back and forth and left it at elite on purpose, and I'm gonna get there. But the headline is Russell Brand accused of raping, sexually assaulting 4 women, including 16-year-old he called the child. Those are the allegations. Obviously, I mean, very serious. It automatically puts you on the defensive. You have to be on the defensive. That's one of the things with these allegations. You have to find out how to navigate this landscape where you are now on the defense.
English comedian and actor Russell Brand is facing accusations of rape, sexual assault, and emotional abuse. The allegations against the entertainer emerged in a joint investigation by 3 British media outlets. Brand denies the accusations made by 4 women, saying his relationships have been, quote, always consensual.
So that's the 20-second news clip of what's going on with him. And Russell Brand did take to Twitter. I actually saw this first before I even knew, which in his aspect, that would be good to hear from him first before I didn't know what was going on. I just saw this and it said on X, this is happening.
Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Now, this isn't the usual type of video we make on this channel where we critique, attack, and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. I've received two extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff, like my community festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play? Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan, when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of. And we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world using the same language. I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out, Russell, they're coming for you, you're getting too close to the truth. Russell Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago there was a spate of articles, Russell Brand's a conspiracy theorist, Russell Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media making phone calls, sending letters to people I know for ages and ages. It's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices. And I mean my voice along with your voice. I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these very, very serious criminal allegations. Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these two mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack. Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature of the allegations, but I feel like I'm being attacked, and plainly they are working very closely together. We are obviously going to look into this matter because it's very, very serious. In the meantime, I want you to stay close, stay awake, but more important than any of that, if you can, please stay free.
This is a good example of why people will come to me and ask me, well, why are you talking about the Larry Sinclair allegations? Are they true or not? I don't know. It doesn't matter. We are in the middle of informational warfare. It doesn't matter. I'm not claiming that they're true or not, but we don't know if those allegations are true or not, so we can all play that game. So I'm very happy to say Big Mike. I'm very happy to talk about gay Obama. Let's do it. It's going to be very ugly. That's what happened with Brett Kavanaugh. I'm not saying what he did or didn't do. I'm just saying that it's happened repeatedly over and over again. And all of these we don't know. I don't know. Did Larry Sinclair do what he said he did? I don't know. Did this happen? I don't know. But I do know that he has a lot of takes that are rubbing the wrong people the right way, I would say. So I have no problem if you're going to get into it. And it's a very dangerous game to get into. It's not a game. It's literally warfare, but just not with physical weapons. Why would I start out my title when I went from elite, then I was like deep state, then I was like, no, actually I want to do elite when I thought about it in a weird way. Because what is elite? What does that mean when you say, because I've been just using these terms like that. I hear them a lot, so I'm just using it. Wait, what does elite mean? No man is more elite than I am. Only God is the only being, the only entity that I would call elite is God. So what are we talking about here? That's probably why they don't like, there's many reasons, but one of the reasons why they don't like belief in God, and when I say they, I think you can break that down in this case to the people who have the money, Ray, that's why I brought Ray Studios on to talk about. I don't even remember the names of the elites, the 13 families or whatever. It could be them, or right now for me, I can talk about. I don't know about those because I'm not an expert there, but I can talk about BlackRock and asset management firms, these huge $10 trillion firms that own damn near the whole world. That's what I mean by they in this case. That's probably why they don't like you and I believing in the concept of God. Why are they so scared about that? If God is just some fantasy world and we're just big children dreaming up of a Santa Claus, why is that so threatening? It's because they want you to be devil worshipers. They want you to be atheists. Because when you believe in God, you don't worship them. You don't think they're elite. They can call themselves elite, but they're not. Bringing up I went through ChatGPT, said, give me some Bible verses that support my idea here that no individual is inherently more important than another, regardless of their material wealth or societal status or whatever they do. So I got a couple here. I'll just read one. Proverbs 22:2. The rich and the poor have this in common. The Lord made them both. So Acts 10, verse 34-35. Then Peter began to speak. I now realize how true it is that God does not show favoritism, but accepts from every nation the one who fears him and does what is right. So when you believe that, the concept of calling somebody elite, even as a semantic argument of whatever they are, it sounds silly. The concept of elite is in their mind, in those people's minds. Is Donald Trump an elite? It looks like he's been kicked out of the club. He actually probably never really got it fully into the club for whatever reason. They never really liked that dude. And is Russell Brand an elite? Maybe at one time, but as you can see, he's kicked out the club. It looks like he's kicked out the club. You play the chess moves on it, and you look at it and you say, if the allegations are false and they're being brought up like this, then you don't need to go down that path to understand how dark it is. If the allegations are true and they're brought up, then you're wondering, it's been a long time. What's surfacing now to cause it to happen now? Is it being used as an informational weapon? And if they're true, obviously, then you would want to see justice there. But this is just hypothetically. Either path you go down, to me, there is a background of installing fear. When you do something like this, to me, you install fear in everyone. Whether it doesn't matter how big or small you are, if you're speaking out against these certain people, these topics, when I first started this channel, when I first found out who George Soros was, I was like, I don't know if I want to be on record saying that name. Now I'm like, fuck George Soros. So I've slowly come to that place, but this is what instills fear in people. It doesn't matter if you're Patrick Bet-David, if you're Joe Rogan, if you're Russell Brand, if you're Tucker Carlson. So I have criticisms of all of them, but I also have respect because I think they are putting themselves out there. And this right there is to make you afraid, at least in part. I'm pretty confident of that with the timing and the way that it's come out. Russell Brand may have been in that club at one point, but it looks like, come here. They grab that elite card, kind of like those Blackimons take the black card from me. Come here. And I'm like, I never wanted it, so here it is. Don't take it from me. I'm giving it to you. But they want to come take it because that's the power. Like, I can take it from you. I'm like, I don't want it. And they don't know how to act. But the same thing that happened to him. It's not from race, but it's like this elite. Whoa. You out here a little rogue right now, Russell Brand. That's what it comes across as. I'm not saying this is a he said, she said. I don't know what happened. But what it comes across as, at least in some part, if you believe any parts of the allegations, it comes across as, let's look at silencing somebody who's saying stuff that we really don't like. Who is Russell Brand, if you don't know? I mean, probably most people on this channel might know who he is. He's actually a very special figure. Very special, impressive career story arc type of figure. Because when I first saw Russell, I was like, is that Russell Brand doing this kind of stuff? I don't know if you remember, there was a picture of him and, was it Yuval? Yuval, I can't even pronounce his name. Yuval Harari? I think it was him, but somebody with the World Economic Forum, and people were like, oh, he's with the World Economic Forum. I don't know what happened, but I don't think he's with them right now. With the way he speaks out, and that's a hell of, it could be, but that'd be a hell of a psyop. Russell Edward Brand, born 4 June 1975. He's only 2 years older than me. In Grays, Essex, England, is a this is actually written through me, sourced from Wikipedia and other sources online. Well, written by me through ChatGPT. I have to clarify that now. He is known for his work as a comedian, actor, and author. His flamboyant and loquacious style, this is true, has made him a recognizable figure in the entertainment industry. Over the years, Brand has showcased his talent in various mediums, including stand-up comedy, television, film, and radio. He's an immensely talented person, immensely spiritual person, and an immensely insightful person. It makes him very powerful. He's got millions of views, millions of followers. He had that one thing when he had the beef with YouTube. Then he went over to Rumble. Then Rumble, I believe he got a Rumble deal. And he's off and running. Like, he's taking people with him. There are a lot of people that roll with him. And in a way, he can be, you could argue he's more powerful than Joe Rogan in a way. Name another person. Joe Rogan probably could pull this off too, but he hasn't, to my knowledge. Name somebody who's had Tim Pool, Dr. Cornel West, Ron DeSantis, Tucker Carlson, and many others. So I'm just listing off a few on their show. I'm trying to think. I watch a lot of these shows. Name a host that has had Jimmy Dore, Tim Pool, Dr. Cornel West, Ron DeSantis, Tucker Carlson, all on their show. I'm not aware of one. And that you've got people who are like populist, establishment. You got people all over the spectrum, and that can put a bullseye on a target on your back. His journey has been marked by personal growth and transformation. Who hasn't had that in their life? That's a natural story. His is incredible, but that's a natural story. I'm not the same person I was at 35, 25. He has been a vegetarian since the age of 14 and transitioned to veganism in October of 2011. Spirituality has played a significant role in his life. He has shown interest in the, I don't know how to pronounce this, Hare Krishna movement, and has used the Hare Krishna mantra as a means of drug rehabilitation. I'm all for, if you are peaceful, you're law-abiding, you respect my rights, I don't care what religion you are. And it helps you, that more power to you. Furthermore, doing an interview with Ellen DeGeneres in 2010, Brand expressed his affinity for transcendental meditation. And I never heard of that in my life, so I had to look it up. And here's a clip of him, just generally speaking, talking about this
So I met Bobby Roth, wanted to learn about
transcendental meditation.
transcendental meditation due to my dissatisfaction with some of the pleasures that I talked about. Drugs, the fame, the celebrity, the consumerism, the wealth, all of these things that pledge happiness but deliver so little of substance. And in learning about transcendental meditation, I found very quickly access to a deeper state of happiness, which is very profound and absolute. See, like as I said, I can only talk about my personal experiences. What it felt to me was like the dissolution of my idea of myself. Like I felt like separateness evaporated. I felt this tremendous sense of oneness. I find it, I'm quite an erratic thinker, quite an adrenalized person. And like, but what through meditation, I felt this sort of beautiful serenity and selfless connection. You know, my sort of tendency towards selfishness, I felt that kind of exposed as a superficial and pointless perspective to have. I felt a very relaxed sense of oneness. I felt love, you know, sort of love for myself, but also love for everybody else, a constant sense of absolute love between all of us. This, for me, is a beautiful thing. My recovery is contingent upon a spiritual component, and whilst I know the foundation likes to necessarily focus on the practical and pragmatic aspect of this wonderful process, for me, the spiritual element has been valuable. I'm particularly happy to learn that it is applicable to people that have endured such phenomenal and extreme experience as some of the military speakers that we've heard today, because for me, they exist on a promontory of such phenomenal and terrifying experience with such courage and bravery. It's difficult, I think, to have legitimate empathy for people that have gone through so much. And if there's anything we can do to assist people, if there is any technique that can make their suffering temporarily or permanently alleviate, then this is something we have to research and learn more about. Because for me, what I've discovered is that transcendental meditation is useful to me, not because of a unique set of circumstances, not because of my formerly secret brilliance, no, but because I am a human being. And it is applicable to all human beings. And what's really good about that is literally everyone in this room is one. And in fact, I believe, and David will have to confirm this, that all human beings on our planet are human and beings. So we're laughing, we're in hysterics. It's a good thing, because this technique is applicable to all human beings in all situations, no matter how extreme, trivial or mundane. Everyone can draw from it. It's been incredibly useful for me. The other day, as I was just telling David, as a matter of fact, while I was still sitting on the podium before I got seduced by the Clint Eastwood video and then subsequent speakers, it made me think of a brilliant idea. I think it created space in my mind I had a really wonderful moment of creativity during TM. So it's like, you know, there are privileges and luxuries that are accessible, but also people that, as we've heard today, are in extreme states of suffering can benefit from it too. So I'm very, very grateful to be involved. I'm very grateful to you, David, and to you, Bob, and everyone who has spoken today, and to all of you for attending. Thank you very much. Cheers.
So there are his thoughts on it. And continuing on with, you know, who is Russell Brand? So he talked about that on the Ellen DeGeneres show in 2010. He's contributed as a guest editor for the New Statesman in October 2013. In this role, he emphasized the need for solutions to be primarily spiritual and secondarily political. This edition of the magazine featured contributions from notable figures like David Lynch, who wrote about transcendental meditation and inner revolution, and Graham Hancock, who expressed hope for a revolution in consciousness. Russell Brand has a way with words, as you can see in that little speech there. Everybody's not for everyone, but to me, I find him very interesting and very captivating. Once you start his show, you got to finish his show if you got time. And I believe it's on, I have it on here, it's on Rumble every day at noon, I think noon Eastern. And speech matters. That's why they want to censor people. That's why they want to have control of the social media platforms, the corporate media. Speech matters. And it's been a recurring theme over the last ever since that Trump or death sign. For me, going back to Patrick Henry, one of our founding fathers, he was an orator. That's what he brought to the table, and had people hype, like running through brick walls. Why do you think people like that Deion Sanders speech? For your coach, your coach gives you that speech to hype you up, and you feel like you can do anything out there. You feel like you're with your team. You're all the hard work you put together is coming together. That same type of mentality is like a general in this informational civil war. Of course, that person is going to get attacked by the enemy. That has to happen. And that's what's happening now. He's a great orator. And everybody plays a different role. Everybody reaches different people. And I think there's a concern with who he might reach. TNT Cycles PDX, good to see you. God is the devil to the left. Yeah, I think things are backwards. I think that's true. Brand's personal life has been in the public eye. He was married to Katy Perry for a little bit, then Laura Gallagher, I don't know how to pronounce that. He has 2 children with her. In the recent years, he's expanded his digital presence. His official website showcases a plethora of content, podcasts, videos, articles, books. One of the more notable shifts in his career was his move to, I told ChatGPT I wanted to highlight this, to platforms like Rumble. Brand hosts a show titled Stay Free with Russell Brand. And it has a great, it's hard to talk about these topics and have an uplifting, positive outlook to it. That's something that, I look back and feel like struggled with. For some reason, he's able to do that. He's just that he has that spirit. That's his. He has that spirituality with him, and he's very esoteric and abstract. And I think that helps him talk about some of these tougher, darker topics, and the show feels good. That's not easy. Which airs live on weekdays, like I said, noon Eastern. The move signified Brand's adaptation to the digital landscape, and to me, his commitment to the truth. And he's been hunting down the truth. And why would they take his elite gold member card? Maybe because he's cutting through the noise, and he's using humor, humility, and I would say populism as well. This is Russell Brand.
Out of respect for you and your show, I've brought some facts. Would you? If you like, they're actually.
You just get the fuck out of here. This is not the place.
I thought you'd like facts.
We love facts. I love facts.
I wouldn't have mentioned it. I'm English, and you know that politeness is our fundamental religion.
Yeah.
But they do pertain to this issue, so may I say some of them? If they inconvenience you, I'll stop saying them. The pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than two-thirds of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just mention, finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elite.
So he has a way of saying it. Andrew Tate has a way of, when he's on his bass bro mode, he has a way of explaining it and laying it out like it's a chessboard. He's a chess player. Like no one else that I've heard can do it. And you heard that right there. I mean, this is just, I talk about these same topics. I can't phrase this stuff like this. This is special.
Not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just...
Why is Bill trying to stop him? Like, that's gold. Like, you're right in the moment. I'm like, go, bro. Like, let me make sure my mic is muted so I don't interrupt you. It's weird. Bill? Why would you want to stop a dude that's on the roll like that?
sponsored by Pfizer.
I need to get the drop from Djokovic getting the shot of the day by Moderna. I haven't covered that, but I think a lot of people have. That was hilarious.
Just mention finally, and this is also a fact, that the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceuticals...
This is problematic. This is problematic for a lot of people. How are you going to go ahead and say... After you listen to that, there's no refuting this. Like, you can't, not with a good conscience, not with any type of integrity. And then how do you go from that to an ad that's...
The 65th Grammy Awards is sponsored by Pfizer.
Sponsored by Pfizer. And when it came to the profits...
vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elite.
Bill, let him go. Let him go. He's on a roll, man. He's on a roll. I'm not going to interrupt him.
John, I've not known you long, but I love you already. But I have to say that it's disingenuous to claim that the biases that are exhibited on Fox News are any different from the biases exhibited on MSNBC. It's difficult to suggest that these corporations operate as anything other than mouthpieces for their affiliate owners in BlackRock and Vanguard. And unless we start to embrace, and also, mate, like just spiritually, if I may use that word in your great country, we have to take responsibility for our own perspective. I've been on that MSNBC, mate. It was propagandist nutcrackery on there. I went on a show called Morning Joe. It was absurd the way they carried on.
Good Morning Joe.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It wasn't morning. There was no one called Joe there. No one could concentrate. They didn't understand the basic tenets of journalism. No one was willing to stick up for genuine American heroes like Edward Snowden. No one was willing to talk about Julian Assange and what he's suffered trying to bring real journalism to the American people. And I think to sit within the castle of MSNBC throwing rocks at Fox News is ludicrous.
My friend,
Make MSNBC better. Make MSNBC great again.
My friend, I would, the moment...
Fight them on the territory you can win on, Joe.
Russell, darling, the moment that you give me a specific example, an actual example.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Mike, just wait.
Just let him go.
Just we need a specific example.
Let me tell you what the specific I'd like to hear of. I'd like to hear a specific example, a provable specific example of an MSNBC correspondent or anchor being on television saying something they knew was false and were saying behind the scenes to people, I'm about to go out and we know that the election wasn't stolen or something equivalent.
Example.
But I will go out on television and say the opposite. I will lie.
When's my answer?
Just give me the specific example.
I understand the basic point.
Give me a specific example.
All right.
I'm with you. I think it's a false equivalency, Russell.
It's
not. That's your own bias.
It's not about bias. It's a false equivalency because you don't actually know anything about any of these organizations you're talking about. Even on MSNBC once. Big fucking deal.
My darling, it was more than enough.
You can't come up with such a carry. You have a single actual fact.
Do you want an example? Do you want an example?
Yes.
The ludicrous, outrageous criticisms of Joe Rogan around ivermectin, deliberately referring to it as a horse medicine when they know it's an effective medicine.
That's not a bad
Rachel
example.
Maddow turning up on the TV saying, if you take this vaccine, you're not going to get it, when it hadn't been clinically trialed for transmission.
Non-responsive.
What is he talking about?
You have to listen.
Wait.
Do you think you can improve America by determinedly and avowedly condemning Fox?
And that's another guy I used to respect. He did a show, that's John Heidelman, I forgot how to pronounce his last name. And he used to do a show with, dude got canceled because of Me Too. Damn, he was so good. I gotta look it up. It was The Circus. It was a great show. It was John Heidelman and the circuits was, who was the other guy? He's now on like Newsmax or something like that. He's on somewhere else. I forgot his name. He was great, and then he got Me Too. It's Mark Halperin. Mark Halperin was great back in the day. I was blue pilled though, but I thought he did a great job breaking down the news and all that kind of stuff. And he got Me Too, and I like them. And now he's just squirming, lying, weasel. I'm gonna finish this one on a thread. This is a thread by Tara Bull on X, and it's basically exactly what I wanted to do. I'm like, why recreate the wheel when someone's already done it for you and better than I could do it? Talking about here, where did these wild allegations against Russell Brand, where were they before he took a stand against the establishment? That was my take, saying, let's say that they're true. If they're true, obviously, very, very concerning. But just from the standpoint of the timing of the information, where were they before he took a stand against the establishment? That's what it looks like. I don't know if it has anything to do with that, but that's what it looks like. And then you come and take a look at, well, in 2016, Trump runs for president. He's accused of an affair. 2021, Joe Rogan talks about this drug, ivermectin. Spotify threatens to cancel his podcast. Media pushes to deplatform him in favor of the vaccines, which Fauci now admits causes myocarditis. And remember, Alex Jones went on that famous rant where he opened up the ivermectin and he took it. And he just went wild. And he went off on Fauci. He called him like a Joseph Mengele mangling. Yeah, he just went. I can't even do the bars like he did it. 2022, Elon Musk says he'll buy Twitter for free speech, accused of sexual misconduct. Remember that? And obviously, Elon wasn't doing it for free speech, but he was doing it. And, you can kind of control people like that. Joe Biden has his own allegations as well. So that's the same type of thing. Russell Brand gets sober, gets out of Hollywood, starts a family, and begins to speak out against the vaccines, and establishment gets accused of sexual assault from 2006. And the same thing happened to Brett Kavanaugh. Who knows? They all could be true, but we're seeing that same thing happens over and over, and that's what it looks like a pattern. It looks like it could be a pattern. And that's what Tara Bull ended this with. Anytime someone stands up, they use the establishment media in an attempt to control or cancel them. Notice a pattern yet. It's a fair question. We as humans notice patterns as self-defense instinctually. So you're going to trust your instincts. I think at the end of the day, we have to be able to live in a gray area. We have no idea what happened. Just like, did we get to the moon? I have my opinions on it, but I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. You have evidence and you decide, I wasn't on there, so I don't know. How did George Floyd die? I don't know. I don't know how he died. We have conflicting coroner's report. We've got evidence on one way or another, but nobody knows other than God in that George Floyd case how he died. And then we have the other more serious, or not, well, I don't even know what to call these. Did Obama get sucked off by Larry Sinclair?
Guy who's in town for the night, and it sounds like you're looking to party.
Yeah, pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. I had given Barack $250 to pay for coke. I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice, you had no idea who he was.
I had no idea who he was.
Let me just ask the obvious question. What was Obama like on crack? Is it your sense that that's who Obama is, just transactional, or that he's bisexual, or like what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't his last.
The guy's running for president and credible information comes out that he's smoking crack and having sex with dudes. That seems like a story.
Well, it would be a story if the media really cared about telling people the truth.
So yes, you want to talk about the allegations with Russell Brand? Absolutely. Let's talk about it. There's allegations to go around.
So You know, at one point, you learn that you have to deal with what you have to deal with when the people in authority are not there to help you. And everybody is so worried about the elite. And we could give those names of Barack Obama, Joe Biden. We know about Michelle Obama, that's a man. We know about Too Short. We know about Akon and Steven Tyler, and we can give those names all day. And everybody is so worried about that. But what you should be worried about is the people that are in between, the people that go as low as your grave diggers. I was trafficked to people within my schools. I was trafficked in underground tunnels that link under your schools, through your cemeteries, under your amusement parks, through Universal Studios, and into Hollywood elite homes, all over the place, all over the world. And people don't understand that, and they can't fathom that, and they can't put that together. But if you think about the things that have come out lately, and there's 200 children missing, and there's 300 children missing. What Amber Alert did you receive? How many times do you receive an Amber Alert every year? And if you think about that, how many children are coming up in your face that have been tortured and abused like this? It exists and it's real, and people don't want to face it. It happens in your schools every day, as your grave diggers, your trash men. Everybody is involved, but everybody is looking at the top, and that's just a small percentage. And you really need to look at the people in between.
So the names that you just mentioned, Barack Obama, Steven Tyler, Joe Biden, Michelle Obama, have you had personal sexual experiences with these people?
Yes.
These people participated in sex abuse firsthand with you?
Yes.
Can you tell that story? Because that's important for people to understand and to know. And to this point, I don't think a national platform has given you the opportunity to say those things.
No, because everybody is complicit. Everybody is complicit. It is covered up by your local FBI. It is covered up by your local police department. It is underground tunnels. There's a whole world.
So in July of...
So if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. That's my ending take on that. Thanks for joining. Well, happy Saturday night, everybody. That's the struggle I'm telling you about. Like, we got to talk about, we don't have to, but yeah, nothing like the allegations of, I didn't even go into the details of the allegations against Russell Brand, which are pretty detailed and graphic. Nothing like celebrating your Saturday night. I was talking to my wife about how Saturday nights, my wife was asleep at like 9:15 Mountain. I'm like, damn, we old. We old than a motherfucker. I got to drink 2 cups of coffee to stay up past 10 p.m. My wife is like, I'm out. Like, we were watching the Colorado State football game. My wife is like, I'm falling asleep. I'm out. I'm like, what? I'm like, it's like 9 p.m. Like, what do you mean you're out? Like, where you going? Like, what do you mean you're out? But you got to listen to your body. But you'll be up at like 5 a.m. though. And I'm pretty much up at 6:30 a.m. at the latest every single day. So, like clockwork. What are y'all up to? See, Dinger. Remember when you were younger and you got a nudie pic? Best stuff ever. Oh man, I just can't. Yeah, Too Short. I saw that. I did talk about Too Short. I don't know. I don't even know that one. I don't even know. Too Short's that dude, man. Like Too Short, like all the Too Short songs were about that, like a 6 to a 8. You know, like I don't think, for me, Too Short didn't have like any, like, for me, like historical classic joints, but they were all like solid. Like, you put on any Too Short song. But I don't know, man. I'm ignorant on that. I'm not saying one way or the other. I don't even know what those allegations are. But yeah, I did peep that TNT cycles. You heard that too? The first time I heard that, I was like, Too Short? Did she say Too Short? Too Short? Is she blowjob Betty? These are allegations, like, I think when she was a child or something. I don't even know. I just wanted to throw it out there. Like, if we're going to talk about it, let's throw all this stuff out there. We throw it all out there. I forgot your super chat. My bad, Ray. What did I? Oh, I see. Well, Ray Studio super chat. My bad, man, because I'm trying to look at the Rumble and all that. Ray Studio says, "What up, Playboy Wayne?" Just kidding. I mean Bruce Wayne. What's up, man? the homie Ray Studios. Too Short player. Yeah, Too Short, man. Too Short had those songs that you would bump in the ride. Like back in the day, people would have their sounds in their ride, and they're annoying to me now because I'm old. Everything's annoying to you when you get old, and because we had somebody usually in the neighborhood, you don't hear sounds that much anyway. With the bass in the trunk or whatever. And the other day we had somebody come through with it, like, damn, that reminded me of the '90s when people used to have bass in their rides. I remember there's some cats back in the day because a lot of times the bass sounded bad. It was just rattling and all. I was in some cars when they had it clean. Like they had the highs in the front and the bass in the back, and it was blowing your ears out, but it sounded really good. But Too Short would be a great one, like any Dre stuff, but Too Short, any Too Short song, man. It got the 80. I think they used 808s in those old Too Short joints. I was never a huge Too Short person, but got some class. Life is Too Short. That's a classic. I don't even know if you can play those. Some of them they copyright or whatever. But now since y'all talking about Too Short, this isn't how I wanted to bring up the topic of Too Short. We're talking about some type of allegations, but I don't know what he allegedly was in. But Life is Too Short isn't one of his top ones. I'm surprised. They got Blow the Whistle. Yeah. They got some of the newer stuff. I go back to like Life is Too Short. That's the first song I think of from that album. That was the first song on that album, I think. Let's see if I can get that queued up. Yeah. Some old school. Oh, I haven't heard this in a minute.
I remember how it all began. I used to sing dirty raps to my East Side fans back then. I knew you couldn't stop this rap. No MC could rock like that. In the new style came, the bass got deeper. He gave up the mic and bought you a beeper. Do you wanna rap or sell coke? Brothers like you ain't never broke. People wanna say it's just my time. Brothers like me had to work for mine. 8 years on the mic and I'm not joking. Sir Too Short coming straight from Oakland, California, home of the rock. 8 woofers in the trunk beating down the block. Short dog, I'm that rapping man. I said it before and I say it again. Life is
Too Short. Didn't they scratch? Yep.
Life is Life is to some people unbearable. Commit suicide and that's terrible. Was it much too much or nothing big? If you live my life, you'll be fighting to live. Life is to me my main asset. I've been doing alright and keep it just like that. Chill out at the house and bump that bass. I'm trying to get rich as I rock the place. Everybody's got that same old dream to have big money and fancy things. Drive a brand new Benz, keep your bank right here. Never hear me stutter once cause I talk real clear. It's up to you, homeboy, what you gonna do? You can take my advice and start working, fool. Or you can close your ears and run your mouth. And one day, homeboy, you'll soon find out. Life is.
Yeah, that's actually a fitting song to transition from Russell Brand, and it looks like people going after Russell Brand in a way to RFKJ. Sorry for it's like a whole gang of crickets in here now. It's like I can't even do anything about them, but I can do it in post. I can edit the crickets out like in post editing pretty easily now, but when it's live, you're going to be hearing these. Nothing like trying to talk and a bunch of crickets drowning you out. I feel like AOC. I feel like I should do that. Remember, Ray, remember when we did that live when they were heckling AOC? And she was so awkward. She started dancing like she tried to play it off. Like, no, we know you feeling some kind of way. I kind of feel like I need to dance to like the crickets are protesting me. Got some CIA, FBI ass crickets in here trying to spy on me. Some Bill Gates genetically engineered ass crickets in here. Get the hell out of here. But going to a more serious topic that does transition from the Russell Brand. I'll get to the Lauren Boebert. I'll probably do that and be out so I can do some edits, of course. Yeah, this is exciting. YouTube, yeah, being a YouTuber is a really exciting. It's a hobby, but yeah, you do segments, research, and editing. Exciting stuff. But no, I actually do like it. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. tweets in transitioning to a more serious topic. If these damn crickets would shut the hell up. I'm very grateful that alert and fast acting protectors from Gavin DeBecker and Associates, GDBA, spotted and detained an armed man. Again, this is a post on X. Like, X is like the world's newspaper. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Haunting comments here, especially when we know what happened to his uncle. Detained an armed man who attempted to approach me at my Hispanic heritage speech at the Wilshire Ebel Theater in Los Angeles tonight. The man, wearing 2 shoulder holsters with loaded pistols and spare ammunition magazines, was carrying a U.S. Marshal badge on a lanyard and a belt clip federal ID. He identified himself as a member of my security detail. Armed, this is his security GDBA team members moved quickly to isolate and detain the man until LAPD arrived to make the arrest. I'm also grateful to LAPD for its rapid response. I'm still entertaining a hope that President Biden will allow me Secret Service protection. I am the first presidential candidate in history to whom the White House has denied a request for protection. I still didn't fully understand that because when I looked up the statute on it, it said that you didn't have to provide it until later on in the campaigning season. Not that I'm saying he shouldn't get it, but the statute didn't support that they had to do it now. And if you do it for him, then how do you determine who gets it or not? It goes through DHS, but like, would Larry Elder get it? Like, will Will Hurd get it? Who gets it? I think just using your common sense, he should get it. But it's a lot of gray area there to me. But there is video, I believe, of it. Let me show this. There's video that I saw. I believe this is of what they're referring to. This dude that in a scary situation got hemmed up, looked like he was trying to come for, I mean, who knows? It looks like he was trying to assassinate RFKJ. So we're showing this dude who was had fake credentials getting arrested. Right here. Team Kennedy on TikTok showing this. A potential assassination attempt survived by RFK. That was my second headline for today. Talking about these are people on the not left. I don't know what they are, but they're not populist right. So first time in a while, first 2 topics have been non-populist right.
We have a bomb dog. You want to take a look at that bag really quick before you guys get into it? Officer, we have a bomb dog. You want to take a look at that bag really quick before you guys get into it?
So they're talking about bomb dogs.
Yeah, okay, well, wait.
Shit's getting real out here. That's obvious. When I talked about the Civil War, it's with words.
Doug. Yeah.
The Civil War is with words, but we're seeing some stuff going on in the streets that is concerning. If you've got words, then other things can happen. I say stay peaceful, and I don't know what that situation was. Breitbart wrote an article on it. I do have a little bit of a summary here. An armed man was detained by security and later arrested by police prior to an event featuring Democratic presidential contender Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who also has talked with Russell Brand. So Russell Brand's talked with DeSantis. He's talked with RFKJ. He talks with people like Tim Pool. He talks with people like Dr. Cornel West. He talks with people like Tucker Carlson. That's a range of people. The man claimed to be employed by the event organizers, and then Peterson, like TNT talked about in the chat, Jordan Peterson too. The man claimed to be employed by the event organizers, but campaign security officials did not recognize him. The individual was found in possession of a handgun and ammunition. Potential charges against the man include impersonating a police officer or federal agent and possibly unlawful possession of firearms. The Kennedy campaign is particularly vigilant about security, as you could understand, due to the tragic history of the Kennedy family with both President John F. Kennedy and Senator Robert F. Kennedy, his father, being assassinated. Kind of runs in the family. In July, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. mentioned that the Biden administration had denied him Secret Service protection, even though he had requested it and provided extensive documentation supporting the need. Kennedy is gaining traction in some polls against President Biden, but still lags behind by a significant margin. Some Democrats express a desire to vote for a candidate other than the incumbent. And this article was written by Breitbart News. On Twitter, I did comment on that request a while back. I don't know if anybody has any other news on it. I'm gonna look to see if I can find it real. I didn't even have it prepared to talk about, but yeah, here's what I had on it. I said, so this was back when RFK. Okay, so they did do a community check on it too. I don't know if I even saw that community check. Okay, so Robert F. Kennedy talked about this back in July 28th. Since the assassination of my father in 1968, candidates for president provided Secret Service protection, but not me. Typical turnaround time for pro forma protection requests from presidential candidates is 14 days. After 88 days of no response and several follow-ups by our campaign, the Biden administration just denied a request. Secretary Mayorkas, who runs DHS, I have determined that Secret Service protection for Robert F. Kennedy is not warranted at this time. Our campaign's request included a 67-page report from the world's leading protection firm detailing unique and well-established security and safety risks aside from commonplace death threats. And I replied to that and I said, I'm still looking. I didn't look any further than this. I'm still looking, but according to the information I found, the U.S. Secret Service does not provide protection for major presidential candidates within 100, or does provide it within 120 days of a general presidential election. So that's 4 months before. This practice began after the assassination of his father in 1968. However, the decision to provide Secret Service protection is determined by, it's a group of people actually, from what I looked at. This is directly from the government website. Secretary of Homeland Security, after consultation with a Congressional Advisory Committee, which includes the Speaker of the House, the House Minority Whip, the Senate Majority Leader, the Senate Minority Leader, and an additional member chosen by the committee. I didn't hear anything about a committee meeting, but that's the details I found there. But it's a scary situation to see that, especially considering what happened in the family. We'll see what happens with news coming out of that. But RFKJ is putting himself out there. We'll see. Let me know what you think on that. TNT Cycles PDX says, CIA killed his uncle, Secret Service killed his dad, and now federal marshals want to kill him. Strange. Yeah, I would say I'm going to add, not for you, TNT, I'm going to add for myself, allegedly, even though we all know what's up. So I'm going to try to make sure that I look at the chats. Let's see. There's no Rumble. So I'm watching the Rumble chat like very heavily now, and I don't see one chat in there. And the one moment, not one moment, but the moment I struggle watching it, of course, there's like 40 people in the Rumble, which was a lot. That's more than YouTube yesterday. Great thanks to friend of show, Cyan. The last topic is going to be on Lauren Boebert. Got a couple thoughts, got an update on the Lauren Boebert stuff, the aftermath of what happened. If you don't know, the controversy. And I do think it's a very pertinent and serious topic for anyone who is in the populist movement to discuss. Obviously, the corporate America is laughing at it, using it for that. That's not how I'm using it. If you don't know what happened, this is what happened with Ms. Bobert. Incident at the Beetlejuice musical in Denver. That's what happened. Representative Lauren Boebert, a Republican from Colorado, District 3, by the way, attended a performance of the musical Beetlejuice in Denver. Surveillance footage revealed Boebert vaping and behaving disruptively during the show. I agree with that assessment. Boebert and her male guests were seen vaping, recording video, disturbing other patrons, and engaging in inappropriate physical contact. I mean, if nobody's really watching or knew because the theater was dark, who really cares about that part? Because I don't think anybody was complaining about that. Excuse me. I don't think anybody was complaining about that because nobody saw it. So, really, who cares? Boebert's disruptive behavior led to her ejection from the theater. That is pertinent. She was escorted out. Boebert reportedly made a gesture believed to be a middle finger at theater security. Boebert's initial denial here and subsequent apology. Initially, Boebert and her campaign manager denied the vaping allegations. Boebert later apologized for her behavior, attributing her actions to the challenges of her ongoing divorce. I'm going to stop there. She later apologized, and she talked about her ongoing divorce. Somebody replied in the chat where I covered this the other day. Yes, was it just yesterday? And they said, hey, and I was like, I thought she was divorced. Confirmed that she is divorced. And I talked about that. My wife and I were going through things myself. It's not uncommon. A lot of people have, and that's a difficult time. So I don't look at this and say, challenges with divorce didn't play a role. She looked like somebody rebounding from a divorce, to be honest with you, with the skin suit dress, boobs pushed up or whatever they were, and fondling in like, teenagers in a movie theater. It looks like post-divorce to me. So I don't have any problem. I'm not trying to go at her in a negative, attacking type of way. I actually want to go challenge her in a way to help her understand the movement that she's a part of. I mean, she had that great line. I don't think I have that on drop. Ultra MAGA. And I'm like, okay, this is what it means. And I'll get to that. She expressed regret for the unwanted attention her actions brought to the community. And that wasn't even my concern either. A pregnant woman, you saw that with this stuff behind it. And so what my thought on it was, and it still is that don't put yourself above the movement. The specific part that I have a problem with, I don't know why this is so hard to articulate. Maybe it's just me, I'm not doing a good job. I haven't heard anybody express this same concern. My concern was the news came out and people thought that she was removed from the theater because of her political beliefs, her MAGA beliefs. And she knew that that's what people were thinking, or if she didn't know, then she should have known. Then that's another criticism. And she knew that it wasn't because of that and didn't say anything. And I put in ChatGPT, I don't know what team she has behind her, but it's a disaster. The aftermath, the way it was handled was not good. And I'll give you some feedback. ChatGPT would have given you more help. I put this in ChatGPT, and I don't know what she talked about with her team in the aftermath. I said, I put this is literally what I put in ChatGPT. It's right here. I said, it's just a stream of consciousness. It can analyze it, grammar and misspelling, all that. I said, I'm a politician who got kicked out of a Denver theater for misconduct. It is true. I broke rules and got kicked out. This is going to cause a media storm. This is what she would go to her team with. She's got, I don't know what's in her team. Maybe she just has a couple people. She's in the House. She's not like a senator or anything. But you should have a team of people around her that her team is the one who lied. So I'm putting in this AI program, which is just a fancy Google at this point. I'm putting it in the scenario in this fancy Google And this is the same thing that she would have brought to her team. So I got kicked out of the theater. It's true. I broke rules. This is going to cause a media storm from social and corporate media. Put together a bullet point list of suggestions of how I should handle the aftermath. I'm not going to say what happened. Do you think the media can find out? Give me some damage control breakdown. Some of it's relevant. Some of it's not. I mean, it gives you pretty good breakdown. Acknowledge it, apologize, avoid details, get a PR specialist, stay consistent, limit social media exposure, engage in community service. That was one that's kind of off. It's not really pertinent here, but maybe it was. She did a community event today. It's a good idea. Can't hurt anytime to do like real, true community service. Seek counseling or training. Prepare for interviews. Stay transparent. Rebuild trust. So then it goes into, my question was, can the media find out what happened? It's highly likely. The media has resources and the connections that can help them uncover details, especially if the incident took place in a public setting like a theater. Witnesses or theater staff may come forward with their version of events that happened. Surveillance footage, if available, could be accessed, which would happen. Social media posts or comments from attendees could provide clues or details. I don't know if that happened or not. So I put it in ChatGPT. ChatGPT gives you the answers right there, how to form the thing. So you don't need to, so you just need to be upfront and say, you don't have to go into the details and just say, hey, something came up. And here's what I'm going to say. If y'all on Twitter, there's a lot of people on Twitter that are like, I stand with Lauren Boebert and all that. And if you're going to keep doing that, I'm going to keep bringing it up. She apologized. I don't think she apologized for where my area of concern is. So I said, I appreciate your apology. We can move on from it. The area of concern was you let people go astray. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable in this movement for people to, you know something, people are going astray and you're hiding it because it's uncomfortable to you when you should have a staff that said it's going to come out anyway. In that breakdown, the theater, you're in crisis mode. Call up your people. Here's the deal. What do I do? What's the response? That's all legitimate. It's going to come out, Lauren. It's coming out. So let's get ahead of it. Terrible response. That's my feedback. Let's move on. I'm fine with it's a red flag, and I do hold it against her. And it's not like I'm telling her. I will say this: I'm not telling her to resign. But if my feedback to her is not received, like, hypothetically, I'm not talking with her. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if I were to give her this feedback and she would be like, bitch, or, whatever, you don't know what you're talking about, all that. Yeah, go resign because you don't know what the hell's going on. But if y'all keep trying to say I stand with her without acknowledging these problems, then I'm going to keep on saying I have problems. So that's where we stand, and I'll leave it out that with the Lauren Boebert. Well, I forgot the other part of the update was this, and for this part I don't care about, and I'm gonna pull up this headline. I'm just gonna pull out the headline because to me it was kind of the main point of it, the main continuation of this story. I apologize. Did I have that? I didn't even have that ready because it wasn't even a big issue to me. But part of the story came out in the New York Post that her boyfriend, I guess whatever this is, her boyfriend is a Democrat. I don't know if that's true or not. So people are talking about the boyfriend's a Democrat. And the boyfriend owns a bar. So I think this is, let's take a look at this here. Popular Liberal has this part of the story. Bobo loves Democrats. They call her Bobo now. Okay, that's cute. It's no wonder she was so drawn to him. As it turns out, finally she found some much needed rejuvenation. Okay. According to my sources, this is who the boyfriend, I don't care what his name is. He is indeed a Democrat. However, they're finding that out, it sounds like. bar owner in Aspen, very well off. That's, rich, if you don't know, rich ski resort type area. Confirmed by a reliable source cited by the Post. So they're basically saying that the boyfriend is a Democrat, and then not only that the boyfriend owns some type of bar that's friendly to hosting drag shows. Hypocrite Lauren Boebert. I don't know if that's a hypocrite. So this is the part I do want to address this. So they're saying hypocrite. This is an LGBTQ nation. I thought you would make her your queen then. So you're really not about LGBT. It just highlights. So this LGBTQ nation outlet or whatever calls Lauren Boebert a hypocrite because she's dating a man who hosted a drag show at his bar. I thought you would have been like, yes, queen. If you're really for LGBTQ and it has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans or anything like that, you would have been like, great, Lauren, I love that. No, it's just another. It's the evidence is just abundant. This LGBTQ identity is nothing more than a Democratic Party offshoot. Because if you're really about LGBTQ, you've been like, it's cool. You'd be like, oh yeah, it's cool. Why don't maybe you could say, hey, why don't you talk about that more, Lauren? No, you're not. That's not what you're really about. And for me, I don't care about that. I don't care about the bar, the boyfriend she was with is a Democrat. Who cares? Maybe it was a one-night stand. I don't even know what it is. It's almost like the TikTok that I did that got banned. That was called. It was I said, what does LGBTQ mean? It was it wasn't really a joke, but I stand by it. But it was like, what does LGBTQ mean? Ally mean? Does it mean that you will only have sex with a Democrat? And it's almost like what they're saying. They almost lived up to that statement, saying that Lauren Boebert couldn't have sex with the dude because he's a Democrat and had, his bar hosted a drag event. Yeah, no problem with it. I never have a problem with a drag event. Who cares about a drag? I would go, if I was younger, I'd go to a drag event. I don't care. Looks like fun. I like Lady Gaga. I like the music. I'm dating myself. They probably don't even listen to Gaga. I don't even know what they're listening to now. What are they listening to at drag events now? They do disco. I like disco. Disco is an underrated art form. I love disco. Old school disco. I don't even think I have any on my playlist right now. I had a playlist from like an old Google playlist that had all my stuff on it, and I don't even have it anymore. But old disco's hype, man. I love disco. Some of the stuff they have in this disco list are not disco, but that's not disco. It's funk. Let me find some disco. Dancing Queen, that's a disco. That's disco. Staying Alive, that's disco. Yeah. Disco is dope. But I don't think they're listening to. Are they listening to this at drag shows? That's too old school, man. I'm dating myself. I have no problem with trans people and none of that. The problem was trying to force the ideology, the aggressiveness, and all that with kids, obviously. So who cares if she was groping a dude that hosted drag? Now, if the dude was hosting a drag show that had children with it, then I would, ask Lauren if she had a problem with it. Yeah, I think that's a fair question. Maybe she wouldn't even have known. Who knows? But that's crossing the line for me, and that's where I would have a problem. I don't give MDR. I don't blame you. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter. Dude in dresses, it doesn't matter to me. That's not the problem. See, that's why the reason I'm bringing this up though is that those people, they called her a hypocrite over that. Did Lauren Boebert ever say that she had a problem? Maybe she has. I don't know. Has she ever said she had a problem with dudes wearing dresses? I don't know. So they don't understand the take. I've never heard her say that. I never had a problem with a dude. If you want to wear a dress, I don't give a damn. If Obama wants to wear dresses or do what he does as the first quote unquote gay president, as the one magazine wrote, I'm fine with that. And they didn't really mean it as gay. It's mean gay friendly. That's not the take. So that's the issue I have with it. Disco TNT Psycho says disco reminds me of all night roller skate parties. Yep. Yeah, you gotta put us on roller skates with disco. And disco is good dance music. It's good music. I mean, it's fun music. It's like happy music, you know? Like how are you angry listening to a disco song? So many good stuff in there. Heart of Glass remix here. Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's not. I don't consider that disco. I don't think, right? I Will Survive. This is like textbook. Right? This is textbook disco. And then they said Method Man sampled this or interpolated this. So, you know, this is textbook disco right here. Yeah. And this is the 80s, right? 80s was underrated. I think we were in the Discord. Let me put the Discord in there, make sure everybody goes in there. It's been popping off with Cyan, and I appreciate that. So this is the Discord. You know why I said I wouldn't mind going to a drag show? Because I like the music. Basically, my understanding of the show is that they just do these lip syncs of these. I like these songs. So yeah, I'm not I'm not getting the Larry Sinclair. I'm good. Like, I'm not Obama, but I have no problem with the shows. I liked American Idol. They would do these type of songs back in the day. I'm a big music fan. Janis Joplin, TNT says, not disco. Janis Joplin is the raspy. What's Janis, blues? I would say Janis Joplin is more blues. But Janis Joplin is great. You can't mess with Janis Joplin. Let's see, Piece of My Heart. Yeah, is that blues? Maybe she did have some disco. No. Ooh. This is some fire stuff right here. Janis Joplin is dope. You're gonna have me listening to Janis Joplin tonight. There's some soul right here. Like I used to play. I didn't have the soul like this. Like I used to play violin, piano. Like that's that, man. You can't. That's some special soul right there. Yeah, she's blues, but I think that was her song. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a big Janis fan. Could listen to Janis Joplin all night, no problem. MDR says they are going to attack her for whatever they can, and she's giving them the ammunition. Yep, and I think it's okay to be, to give, it's the corny corporate phrase, constructive criticism. I think that's like my criticism of Lauren is to be constructive, and if she were not to be receptive to that, that would be the only problem. Super sticker, thank you, TNT Psychos PDX. Love this stream, brother, man. Love you coming through, man. Great chats. Thank you so much. Yeah, those are the stories I had prepared. I didn't even have the RFK one prepared. I was going to talk about the Mitt Romney, but I'm just not in the mood anymore to talk about him. What else was going on? It was there was COVID. Let's look at this real quick since I'm still kind of caffeined up a little bit, but I do need to take some of that to clip some stuff up. But I thought this was interesting with COVID, that they're having a hard time determining or distinguishing the symptoms. So they said, this is a headline from NBC News: sore throat, then congestion. Common COVID symptoms follow a pattern now, doctors say. Doctors who treat COVID describe the ways the illness has gotten milder and shifted over time to mostly affect the upper respiratory tract. I mean, the doctors are saying they're finding it difficult, increasingly difficult. Here's a quote right here. I'm going to enlarge it so you can see it. God, these ads are crazy. They got more ads than on the Middle Mega blog. Their ads be wild. Doctors say they're finding it increasingly difficult to distinguish COVID from allergy, from just allergies or the common cold, even as hospitalizations tick up. I mean, that's a good thing, right? If it's hard to distinguish, then what are we doing? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm not a doctor, so I don't make any type of determinations based. I just think isn't that a good thing? I don't know. I'll ask the question. The illnesses past hallmarks, such as dry cough or the loss of sense or taste of smell, have become less common. Instead, doctors are observing milder disease, mostly concentrated in the upper respiratory. It isn't the same typical symptoms that we've been seeing before. It's a lot of congestion. What does that mean? Like a stuffy nose? Sometimes sneezing. Usually a mild sore throat. I don't know. Go find a cough drop. Dr. Eric Eating, Vice Chair of Operations for Emergency Medicine at Mount Sinai, downtown New York City. So it does leave questions for me. Now I have more questions. But I appreciate your honesty, though. I don't know why you're being honest, but I appreciate your honesty. Absolutely. Why is Ron DeSantis, and Donald Trump is the same way, but why is Ron DeSantis professing his allegiance to Israel?
Ran for governor, I promised to be the nation's most pro-Israel governor, and I have delivered on that promise. We have led fights against BDS with Israel. We have done trade missions to Israel. We've established strong relations between the state of Florida and the world's only Jewish state. America must always stand with the Jewish people and the state of Israel. When I ran for governor, I promised to be the nation's...
It doesn't even compute with me. When I ran for governor, do you know what a governor does, Mr. DeSantis? Like, you didn't run for president of Israel. When I ran for governor,
I promised to be the nation's most pro-Israel governor.
Wait, what? When you ran for governor of Florida, you promised to be the nation's most pro-Israel governor in the United States? Why? How? It sounds as bizarre as these people with Ukraine flags in their bio. I don't understand. You're the governor of Florida. What the hell does that have to do with Israel? Do we not have enough problems here, sir? You care more about Israel than like other states in the union? You're in a union with 50 states. I would like you to profess yourself to be a sanctuary state for Grandpappy Don so he can have a place to hide, because where this stuff is trending with the gag order and all this is going to get worse. I told him not to turn himself in, because all that's happening is it's progressing to give more and more reasons for the FBI. Grandpappy, we need to talk to you. And handcuffed and dragged in. So now he's going to abide by, if they rule, I don't know where the ruling is, by the gag order or whatever. And the state, this is the governor of the state that his primary residence is in, Mar-a-Lago. Hey, Ron DeSantis, what's your concern? You're the governor of Florida. Donald Trump has been arrested.
To be the nation's...
He's been arrested, and we need direction. What are you thinking? Georgia's bordering state to you. They're involved as well with Fanny ass Willis. What are you going to do?
To be the nation's most pro-Israel governor, and I have delivered on that promise.
No, shit is real. I know. But what are you going to do about Donald Trump and the nation? And we're crumbling at the, we're crumbling. The pieces are falling apart right before our very eyes. I mean, we're seeing some good stuff coming out of the courts. The judicial system is the last beacon of hope, but it's still disastrous. We saw Ken Paxton got acquitted today. It's great news. But what's going on with the citizens of your state, the J6ers that are being hemmed up right now? They're in jail singing the national anthem. What are you going to do about this?
And I have delivered on that promise. We have led fights for against BDS with Israel. We have done trade missions.
Wait, why are you talking about Israel? I was talking about the, people who are citizens of your state, this country. They're your constituents, and they're getting hemmed up unconstitutionally. What are you going to do?
Most pro-Israel governor, and I have delivered on that promise. We have led fights.
I haven't heard him say anything with even a tenth of that passion that has to do with anything I care about. I've liked Ron DeSantis, but I'm just talking about like with the energy and I mean, that for him, that's next world. That's like shouting. That's like dancing to disco to him.
Governor, and I have delivered on that promise. We have led fights for against BDS with Israel. We have done trade missions to Israel. We've established strong relations between the state of Florida and the world's only Jewish state.
Why? I have a question. Governor, in the back. I'm in the back. Why? But Donald Trump's the same way. I'm not. He up there. Carrie Lake's probably the same way. I don't know that for sure. I know she's done so. I don't have any problems meeting with these type of people, but maybe. Actually, I don't. If you're meeting with Israel, I don't know why you need to meet with the country. But if you've got American lobbyists or whatever, I understand. I understand meeting with those people, but coming up on the stage and professing your love for Israel when you're the governor of Florida is some dumb shit. I mean, there's no way to convince me of otherwise. I don't have any tolerance for anything like that. So, and basically every politician has to do that. Vivek did it. They all do it. It's like a rite of passage. I don't know. It's bizarre to me. But I'm gonna be out. Yep. I'm feeling good. Tomorrow we're gonna do the flag football. His son played soccer. Played very well today. Very happy with his. My youngest is 4. He played soccer, so he's playing in a 3-4-year-old league, so he's one of the older ones. So you're gonna have to tell him to pass the ball a little bit, wait for your teammates, and try to set them up so you don't dominate the ball. But he's doing well. My youngest is doing a flag football league. He's gonna be he's the youngest. He's the shortest guy on the team. I said you can be like Saquon Barkley. Ron, he can't catch. So we got to work on it. He can't catch at all. So we got to work on that. But that's what we got going on Sunday. Hopefully everybody has a good Sunday going on. I'm going to leave you out with little Janis Joplin. Peace, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Take care.